I'm a lefty, so I have to put it on the other side, so that's okay. I call this June 18th, 2025 meeting of the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority to order. Member Sanchez is excused and all other members are present. Member Sengel will be here shortly. So with that, we'll move on to item 2, which is a moment of silence, and then the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think we'll do that jointly. So please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we are now on item 3, approval of minutes. I make a motion to approve the May 21st, 2025 minutes. Is there a second? Second. There's a second by Chair Baca. All those in favor say yes and raise your hand.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next, we have approval of the minutes. I make a motion to approve the May 21st, 2025 minutes. Is there a second? Second. There's a second, once again, by Vice Chair Baca. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. We are on to proclamations and awards. There are none this evening. And then we are on to public comment. Ms. Salas. And then I'll read this as you're looking up the first person. You will have 3 minutes to speak with a 2.5-minute warning.
Madam Chair, we have Elaine Hubbard signed up online. Elaine, go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yes?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. My name is Elaine Hubbard, and I've been a longtime observer of the Water Utility Authority. I've sent in written comments, which I hope will be added to the record that flesh out these oral ones. Hooray for the rain last month that brought our total up almost to normal. But with no more storage available, the run of the river is what we're going to be facing this year. According to the water report, because pumping only exceeded the annual operating goal by 120% last month, it is appropriate to continue the declaration of a stage 0 drought. In spite of that declaration, it was good to see the increase of information on the drought, such as the insert in the Albuquerque Journal. But is it enough? Quite a bit more groundwater was pumped in the first 5 months of 2025 compared with other years. Water 2120, which includes drought and climate variabilities, is a plan to prevent the water utility from needing to procure new water supplies until 2120, if the plan is followed. But currently, pumping is much higher than planned. We need to reduce the depletions, and there should be a metric that does so. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we're borrowing more than $180 million. What a jump from just 2 years ago. In last year's financial plan, it was going to be $57 million. So I'm not sure how useful the financial plans are when these jump around and the borrowing is such. My concern is that there is a $16 to $17 million backlog that has also grown over the years. And I would suggest that that needs to be addressed, perhaps putting off some of the Water 2120 projects until under the 2017 plan when they were supposed to be put into place. My last point that I'd like to bring up is that Water 2120 is now being updated and meetings are currently underway, but no presentation yet to the TCAC, to the board, nor to the public. And I would suggest that since the projections are so different from what was in the plan, we need to have more emphasis on that. Thank you. I'm sorry. Hello?
Thank you. Is that the last public speaker?
Madam Chair, that was the only one.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Hebert. I've always appreciated your advocacy for our water, so thank you for being here. As long as I've been here, I think you've been providing public comment, so thank you. Next, we have announcements and communication. Our next meeting is August 20th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Vincent E. Grego Chambers. And so now we are on to item 7, which is introduction of legislation. And this is the first is R2524, authorizing the issuance and sale of Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority Senior Lien Joint Water and Sewer System Improvement Revenue Bonds. We have Mr. Harrigan with RBC Capital.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the Water Utility Authority. Eric Harrigan with RBC Capital Markets. So what is before you is a resolution authorizing the issuance of approximately $90 million of new money, which we'll go over in a little bit more detail, as well as approximately $90 million of refunding bonds to potentially lower the interest rate on existing debt that the Water Utility Authority has. On page 1 of the presentation, we've included all of the authority's outstanding debt. The authority has a little over $500 million of bonds currently outstanding. $340 million of that is callable at some point, either currently or in the future. And as I mentioned, we'll take a little bit closer look to the 2015 bonds, which a portion of those can be refunded for interest rate savings. The authority does have very rapid repayment of its debt due to its conservative debt policies. Over 50% of your debt will be paid off in the next 5 years, and over 80% of your debt will be paid off within the next 10 years. As you'll see on the next slide, but before we get into that, you are well positioned to fund, a significant portion of Water 2120 over the next 4 years because your debt does pay off so rapidly. And then in addition, the Water Authority has ratings of AA+ from Standard & Poor's, AA2, and AA+ from Fitch. Page 3 of the presentation, you can see the rapid repay of the authority's debt. As we kind of get into the new money, the new money is being structured to take advantage of the decline in the authority's debt service, and we're going to continue to maintain the amount of annual debt service that the authority pays. So for the new money project, $60 million of it will be for basic rehab projects. This will be financed on a 12-year basis. Then the $10 million for reservoir improvements and the $20 million for new buildings and the Southside Water Reclamation Plant. Those will be financed on a 25-year basis. These are consistent with the Water Authority debt policy. So as mentioned, the 2015 bonds, they will become currently callable, and the authority can currently refund a portion of those for interest rate savings. Only the maturities that generate 3% or more will be refunded. Interest rates, as we all know, can fluctuate from time to time. In the event that we get to the point where we price the bonds, if none of the refunding maturities achieve 3% savings, none of those will be refunded. We've provided the various projects down below. One of the things to want to mention that, like 2 years ago, the bonds will be placed through the New Mexico Finance Authority because it does provide cost savings to the Water Utility Authority. On page 5 of the presentation, in the light blue, this is the structure of the new debt, and you can see that not only do we maintain your debt service payment next year, but we also continue to maintain that rapid payout that the authority has. From a refunding standpoint, we provided an overview of the 2015 bonds, and currently the 2031, 2032, and 2033 bonds all provide net present value savings. And if the authority were to price the bonds today, those would be the only 3 bonds that we would refund. What is in your packet is authorizing all of the
All the groundwater data that is in that chart is, I'm happy to bring it to the board. We also have it on the online published.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage someone to do a deeper dive into the aquifer, and I know it's not just, you know, if you're just measuring at one station, it's just one data point, and of course, it's a very large area that the aquifer covers, but I would assume there are ways for you to get an idea of how that's grown or how that's contracted over the last, since it was only reported to 2018, so over the last 7 years, right?
Madam Chair, Mr. Benavides, we actually do a pretty robust groundwater program. So the Bureau of Geology, they synthesize the data from all of the 100+ wells that USGS monitors, plus Bernalillo County, plus the city of Albuquerque, plus even Kirtland Air Force Base for their contamination sites. And they come up with a groundwater map that shows us how levels are changing over time across the entire Albuquerque area, even beyond our service area. And then we also we take it one step further. Our groundwater management plan has a metric of a groundwater reserve level of 110. That's our management level. If we approach that or get there, we will trigger additional decision making. We have the Bureau of Geology analyze all of those data points relative to that management level to tell us how far we are to that trigger point. As of our last analysis, we were like 80 feet above that trigger point. But those maps show us where we're seeing pumping, increase in that aquifer level increasing in this area, or maybe it's increasing in other areas, and not just looking at a single data point. We look at it comprehensively.
Which brings me to this point. A volume calculation would be helpful, and maybe you don't know what the total volume is, but you might be able to estimate what the change in volume is from year to year, right?
Madam Chair, Mr. Benavides, exactly right. We do that. So we are calculating how much water we're adding into the aquifer with our decreased pumping from every year, and we also calculate if we're pulling water from the aquifer in terms of acre feet. So we are looking at that number as well.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Benavides. Commissioner Olivas?
Thank you, Madam Chair. 2 points that I wanted to raise. First, on the drought table, I just wanted to point out that that was really helpful to understand how we declare the phases of drought. And my only concern with that is that it's completely decoupled from the hydrologic reality of drought, right? The conditions really are only based on our groundwater pumping and our GPCD, which I realize are probably proportionally related to climatic factors, how hot it is, how much rain we're getting. Obviously GPCD is going to go up when it's dry and hot, and probably go down when it's raining or cool. But that's a little bit concerning. I understand, from an operational perspective, it's based on operations, but I think it just kind of ignores the weather outside, basically, or it's a factor in those numbers. But and then the other thing I wanted to just point out is just kind of an announcement. Since Commissioner Barboa is not here, it's in her district, but it's close to mine. The Kirtland groundwater treatment system is having an open house on July 17th when we're not in session. There will be a poster session and other discussions and opportunities, but for the public, for anybody interested, to be able to tour the system and see what's going on there and raise your concerns or ask questions about what's going on. That's July 17th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. So that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Thank you so much. I appreciate all your work. Thank you. Well, with that, there is no other business. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.